What's going on, everybody? Welcome to another episode of Live with Weiss, where we're going to talk about technology, where we're going to talk about stories, where we're going to talk about different experiences in hopes that, through your journey of whether if it's business or in life, you can take something away from it and grow from it and hopefully something spawns. Today, what we're going to be talking about is specifically a tech review. We've been doing a lot of them lately. We've been doing a lot of audio. We've been doing a lot of video. And this week, what we're going to tackle is streaming. And streaming, especially for those of you that may have done video game streaming before, who may have just gotten accepted to LinkedIn Live. So congratulations to you if you've gotten accepted to LinkedIn Live. But streaming is a very important thing. And there's a lot of different tools out there that you can utilize to help you with your beginning phases of streaming and advanced phases of streaming. There's a lot of different platforms out there. Today's focus is specifically going to be on Streamyard. So I personally have been using Streamyard for the past 7 months, streaming every week with Live with Weiss, utilizing the platform, understanding how it works, trying to utilize every capability out of it in order to create these different streams, especially on LinkedIn Live. These also do appear on YouTube, and they also do appear on Facebook because StreamYard allows me to do that. StreamYard is simply a third-party platform that allows you to take your streams and put it into multiple destinations with some customizable features. So what we're going to tackle today is understanding how I got into StreamYard, why we're going to talk about it in the first place, what StreamYard actually is, and then how it works. We're going to do a walkthrough. And at the very end, I'm going to give my final review on StreamYard based off of my experiences, what I've learned, and how I've progressed over time. So like I said, I've been using StreamYard for 7 months, very specifically, though, because of two reasons. One, I got accepted to do LinkedIn Live episodes for everybody that is watching, which has been a lot of fun. It's I felt like it was a great honor and I needed to do some justice around it. So in order to do that, I needed to understand how to just start streaming to LinkedIn. And one of the big things for each and every one of you that are applying for LinkedIn Live or have just been accepted is, where do you begin? Well, LinkedIn really maps it out in such a way that helps you understand how to get started. It's actually a couple easy steps. So when you first get access to LinkedIn Live, it's going to tell you first to choose a streaming tool. And that's how I fell into StreamYard. These tools are certified partners who, probably had conversations with LinkedIn. It's like, hey, listen, we want to integrate with your platform, make it as easy as possible for your users to go in and be able to stream live. And so this is really cool. And, the very first ones that came up when I was first starting out were really these four. You had Restream, Social Live, StreamYard, Switcher Studio. And what's really cool is that that LinkedIn has even more certified partners coming through. And along with that, if you notice at the bottom there, you'll see that there's something called Alternatively. For those who want to connect directly to an encoder or streaming software like Zoom or WebEx, go in and use their RTMP tool, which just allows you to generate a URL and allows you to generate a streaming key in case if you're not using any one of these, or if you're already using something else that allows you to stream outside the partner realm. You could use OBS as an example if you really needed to get in there. But I was a beginner. And I tested out Restream and I tested out StreamYard. And really what it came down to was the ease of functionality for beginners. I wasn't that great at streaming. I knew how to do video content and how to edit videos. I knew how to do audio and do janky podcasts. But from a streaming perspective, I needed a little assistance. So in the end, I went with StreamYard. I just found their tool to be easy to use. And also from a pricing perspective and the features you get, you're paying for what you get. And with StreamYard and how it works, when you go in, this is what I really liked about StreamYard. is actually when you are first set up with LinkedIn Live. Congratulations once again. They actually have a free version. The free version gives you just very, very minimal access to certain things. Now, here's the thing. When you first do it, it's going to have the Streamyard logo at the top. You're not going to have access to do overlays or anything like that, but it's free. And it gives you a chance to actually test the software, which actually, for me, I'm a huge fan of from a business perspective. Streamyard gave me a chance to utilize it, test it, and pretty much justify the different pricing structures that they have. And their pricing structures, if you notice right off the bat, not that bad. $20 a month, or you could pay it on a monthly or an annual basis, and you could see you get a whole bunch of stuff. And I think the most important things for me, without a doubt, were the ability to have unlimited streaming, to be able to stream to multiple destinations, which it says up to 3, which I use LinkedIn, YouTube, and Facebook. And then one of the final things is that you're able to download your recordings. I'm a huge proponent of taking content that you've created, especially long form content, and being able to chop it down, dissect it, and turn it into something new. I was like, okay, I'm bought in. Let's play with this tool. So I got into StreamYard, and I had been using it, let's just say, for better terms, for the first 3 months, I was just starting to get familiar with it. I was just starting to understand audio, and I was understanding video. Notice if you go back to my old videos, night and day to what they are today from a stream perspective. I also was doing interviews with StreamYard, which actually makes it fairly easy. But as I started to get more advanced, I started to realize some of the features that StreamYard has. But then there are some features that are really missing. There's a great opportunity for StreamYard that aren't there. And this is what I want to show you today. So I'm actually going to walk you through how StreamYard works from a creative standpoint. And then when you're going live, I'm actually going to share my screen and show you what my live view looks like and show you some of the features that come along with it. So when you come in to StreamYard, let's get in here. And you're coming into to the homepage when you log in. Let's just be realistic here. There's nothing fancy about the page whatsoever. You have your broadcasts and your destinations on one side, and your past broadcasts and upcoming broadcasts on the top part here, where you could see where the ones I've created, one that's actually live and actually is going right now. But what is interesting about StreamYard, before I even create a broadcast, like I told you earlier, one of my favorite features about StreamYard is just the ease of use of downloading your segments. So you'll see here I have everything from the last broadcast I did all the way to the very first one. So you can load multiple different ones. And what you can do that's very important, like I said, is come in, and you could download your recordings. Now, with the download of the recording functionality, what's really great is you could download the entire video, which if you're doing a 50-minute video, just be prepared. It's going to be just around a gig, maybe a little bit more when you download it. But also from a video perspective, you can also download the audio tracks. Now, from an audio track perspective, if you were trying to get into podcasting, this could change the game in which you're creating podcasts and moving forward. Because let's just say your stream is the podcast that you want to create, rather than trying to extract the video audio itself through a third-party platform like free stuff like GarageBand. It takes steps out of the process, makes it a little bit quicker. But you can download. One thing that is important to know when you're buying StreamYard in their base plan is that you have up to 15 days to download, and then it no longer exists. So if I go back to a previous podcast from like April 7th, Finding Success by Listening to Your Heart, and I go in and I try to download this recording, video recording download, it's going to tell me I can't download it. It's a weird feature, right? Why wouldn't it just be completely eliminated, like download recording? It's no longer there. That was really weird because I was just like, oh, I didn't think about it. And I went to go try and download it. And then I'm super disappointed at the end and realize, oh, I have 15 days. So if you're using StreamYard, make sure you download your videos the day after you go and you stream. That is super important. Now, from a destination standpoint, you can add multiple destinations that you want to broadcast to. From a base plan, you can go to 3. Notice how I have Facebook, LinkedIn, and YouTube. The destination integration was pretty simple. A couple clicks, ready to go. Other destinations, especially from a business perspective, you can have Facebook groups, Facebook profiles, pages, events on LinkedIn profiles, your YouTube channel, Periscope. I don't use. If anyone else uses Periscope, please let me know. I'd like to learn more about it. You can go to Twitch as well. I don't think this content is really necessarily for Twitch or that audience in particular. Or if there's another destination that just doesn't exist today, or on this list, I should say, and you need to send it to that other destination, you can plug in the RTMPs, which for everyone out there, it's just stream keys and URLs or server links to help broadcast to, if you're taking this broadcast, putting it into another destination. It's pretty simple, but the setup of destinations was pretty cakewalk. Going in and creating a broadcast. So, setting up a live event, especially on LinkedIn, YouTube, or anything like that, when you're using this functionality, you go in and you create a broadcast itself. This I thought was really great. Come in, I select all the different places I want to put it, give it a title, give it a description, and then what you can do is you can go live right now, or my recommendation is always clicking on the checkbox for schedule for later. The reason why you do this is because it will generate a reminder for your audience that says, hey, I'm going live next week. Click on this reminder. And if you click on this reminder, it'll let you know that I go live. So when we go live, we're good to go. You'll get plenty of views on it. More people generating more interest. You may get questions, comments, and that you need to engage with. It's a much better way than just going live to begin with. The cool thing about this is when you create a schedule for later, as you've seen these on LinkedIn, especially if you go into upload an image, you can, if you're a Photoshop aficionado, if you just know how to use Paint or anything like that, you can upload your own images. So that is what's going to appear on the reminder. And of course, setting your date. So if I want to schedule it for next week at 7 o'clock Central Time, I'm good to go. Now, one important thing to remember, 2 things, apologies, is that when you're coming in and doing descriptions for these, there's a few things to remember. One, there is no spell check on descriptions or titles. So my recommendation, if you're a lousy speller like myself, take your written content and put it into something like Google Docs, spell it all out, and then just copy and paste it into your description, into your title. That's a feature I wish that was on Streamyard. Just had a little bit of functionality there to make sure I didn't misspell anything, because there's nothing worse than having to go in and edit a post and have to correct the spelling that's in there. Second thing is that, especially for the LinkedIn users, you're going to want to tag people. You're going to want to tag companies with the @ symbol, or you're going to want to tag just in general with a hashtag. You can do that, but it doesn't actually bring up the hashtags or the people itself in the description. So it's kind of a crapshoot of what you're putting in there. Honestly, if you use the same hashtags, you're going to be totally fine. But when it comes to people or businesses that you're trying to tag in your description, you're actually going to want to generate this this broadcast, and in the reminder when it goes onto LinkedIn, actually go in, edit the post, and choose the business or person that you're tagging with the @ symbol in your description. I hope there is some sort of integration that can work with StreamYard and LinkedIn to allow this to be seen and to happen. because it's a pain to go in and change that right on the fly within StreamYard and then have to go in and edit. Second thing is, do not create a description with hashtags right off the bat. Your YouTube channel is not looking for hashtags in the description. When you're setting up your YouTube channel, there is actually a section called tags. Those are the hashtags that it uses to help filter out your videos to different audience members so that people who look for certain things or always hunt for X is in your tags in particular. So do not put hashtags in your description. And everybody knows Facebook's a free-for-all. You can do whatever you want. I mean, it's completely insane. There's too many people, but it's the audience, and you want to try and get it out there as much as possible. So just remember those things. Schedule your meetings for later, set up reminders, build some traction towards your live video. Now, once you do that, write your descriptions. No spell check there. Wish there was, but go into LinkedIn especially and edit everything that you're doing. One final thing to remember when creating a broadcast or StreamYard that I found extraordinarily frustrating, and it's not StreamYard's fault whatsoever, is that let's just say I got the date or the time wrong on my broadcast when I went to publish. You can come back in and edit that. But here's the thing, especially on LinkedIn, the connection between your post and the broadcast creation edit that you're trying to do are not synced. In order to change your post, you actually need to delete it and create a new one in here so that it generates a new broadcast. That is such a nightmare, especially if you get the timing wrong. I hop around from Central Time to Eastern Time, and if I get my time zones wrong, there's no way to change it whatsoever. You have to delete your LinkedIn post and then repost a new reminder for your broadcast the following week. So, but the broadcast functionality, pretty simple. This is a really great feature of StreamYard. Just having reminders created so that your audience can anticipate and be prepared to join your live session. Now, if we're going to get into it in particular, we got to get into the actual broadcast itself, right? So the broadcast is a little bit different. Now, I could stream it directly through OBS like I'm doing right now. You'll notice these transitions coming through. But we're actually I'm going to share my screen through StreamYard. It's going to look a little weird, but that's okay because there's inception of video within video within video. So what I'm going to do here is I'm going to first, I've got some comments in here, and I want to say hello to Tim. Tim, welcome. Love the shades without a doubt. We all got the shades. It's a beautiful day. If the sun is shining, I don't have any sponsors around this, but let me just tell you, Costa Shades are the real deal. So if you get a chance, Costa Del Mar Shades, best shades on the planet. And of course, we got Chris here as well. So Chris says hello, and I'm going to say hello right back to you. So once we come in here, I'm actually going to share from my second monitor down below. Let's share the screen here, and let's just see what's going on. All right. So right now, what we're doing is you'll see there's a lot of inception here. And that inception is really a pain in the butt. There's nothing you can do about it just because we're in and we're live at the very moment. But what I want to show you are a few features that are available within StreamYard at the current moment. So without a doubt, at the bottom here, you'll see my mouse. You can choose different people to join the session. And I think that's super important. You can come in and add people, send links to different guests. StreamYard does a great job of integrating your audience members that are going to be interviewed into this session. You can add them. You could share screens. At the top here, you could change your formatting to just one image. You could do it to multiple people. I can come in and change it to just this, right? So it gives you a little bit of functionality of how it's going to look and how it's going to portray. And it's really weird to see my face this way, but you rather see this perspective instead. I mean, it's just bigger and you're going to get a little more information as we go through. Here's the problem I have with, these particular pieces of showing one person, multiple people, or anything here. It's very basic. It's very beginner functionality. It is great for guests and for sharing screens and moving quick transitions through. But there's not a whole lot there. These are your options. What I really wish from Streamyard was to say, here are my options at the bottom here. One really cool feature would be, how can I customize it to make myself unique? So everybody that uses Streamyard, it's pretty much the same, right? There's no uniqueness about the transition from one page to another, right? So if I went from that to this particular function, all of a sudden, like, it's just a... But if you notice, if I'm using OBS as an example, and let's just go in and just do OBS, because that's what I'm streaming from my camera right now, my transitions are a little bit different, right? I have a little bit more fun with it. Notice how it goes in. I can do fadeaways and so forth. It allows me to really get a lot more customizable with how the system actually functions and works. Now let's get in here. Let's change out our screening again. So here, what you'll notice without a doubt is at the right-hand side here, I have all my comments. Now, StreamYard does a really cool thing with comments. As you're watching this live, I am actually able to come in and click on names. So Chris came in and notice at the bottom here, he dropped another comment. I couldn't get my OBS to connect to StreamYard. And Chris, it allows me, well, first of all, it allows me to interact with Chris right now at the very moment. Now, here's the thing, Chris, is that OBS and StreamYard are really funky in connecting with each other. So in OBS, you actually need to go into your settings and first of all, turn your session into a virtual session. So virtual cam, you need to turn that on. That's within the settings and on the main page. And once you click that and you hit start, it actually allows it to stream it appropriately. But you have to be careful because StreamYard might grab your camera right away. So it's a little play of the game, but OBS will connect. We're not going to go into it. By the way, everyone that's watching, OBS is a great open broadcast software that allows me to create these transitions. It allows me to play videos or put myself on top of the actual imaging itself. So really cool. But here's the great thing about this, everybody, is that these comments that are here, you can come in and click on them. Nathan has come in. He said, oh, hey, everyone. And all I have to say to Nathan is, oh, hey, Nathan. Welcome aboard and thank you for joining. But it's a really great way to interact with your audience, get them involved. I wish there was more of an automatic function when it came to the comments piece from StreamYard, just simply because, I don't want to have to constantly click on something. I have to open it up and remove it. And then I have to click it again to remove it. If I click on it, there should be a functionality to click, let it stay up for X amount of seconds, and then completely remove itself. Or if I'm really feeling like the audience is going to interact in a different way, I'm just going to allow it to auto pop and disintegrate as it goes through. So there's some cool functionality that we can definitely do there. If StreamYard definitely wants to put in new functionality, that would be a great one without a doubt. Now, if we come in and after getting its comments, you'll see something called banners. So banners within StreamYard is just the things that appear at the bottom. So you'll notice the scroll bar that's going across. StreamYard walkthrough. What are your thoughts on StreamYard? Drop it in the comments. It allows you to create these simple banners with just a flow. It almost reminds me of the news a little bit. Might start to remove them from now on, although it gives a call to action. I don't really need a call to action. I just want people to come in and I'll engage with the audience however I need to. But you can also change it not just from a ticker, but just a still image that just says maybe like this is the episode, the name of the episode down at the bottom. So if I want to come in and edit this, I'll actually do it live for everybody. We'll save and I'll show. Notice how it shows up at the bottom is just a still image itself. So it has the functionality there that we're looking for in how to, just kind of pull some call to action to the audience. So cool feature. I could live without it. Now, the next thing I want to show everybody is the brand. Now, from a brand perspective, this is where you really start to get into the nitty gritty. Now, before we get into the brand, Nathan dropped in and said, cascading of business screens I'm looking at. Yeah, it's pretty atrocious, but hey, listen, it's, video within video within video. It is definitely the inception of videos. So, but on the right-hand side, you'll be able to see it a little more cleansed. Maybe if I come in and just put it this way, that doesn't help at all. And if I do it in OBS, it's even worse. So I could do still images, but this is a live walkthrough, so we need to be able to see it and make sure it's happening. But thanks for letting me know, Nathan. Now, at the right-hand side here, the branding piece. This is how you build your brand on Streamyard. Now, what I mean by that is it gives you some functionality to come in and do different things. So as an example, you could choose your brand color. A lot of you that may be starting your own businesses or have your own businesses and you're getting a Streamyard account, you're just getting into streaming, or you just got access to LinkedIn Live. You have a certain color palette. You can come in and plug in your color number that is there, especially I know there's a lot of businesses out there that already know what their color palette is. If you don't, you can just click on the actual color itself and change it to whatever your preference is. Mine, like clean and sleek, keep it at the cleanest level possible. So I chose black. Now, from a theme perspective, themes are interesting. It relates to the comments that are coming down below. So, and also the naming conventions. You have people's names underneath and display it. It's just me. It's called Live with Weiss. If you need to see my name constantly here, then I've done something wrong. But you can have names there, and also when the comments appear, you can change the themes to it as well. Logos are cool. If you want to put a little watermark on your page, you absolutely can, whatever your image is. There's also overlays. So overlays are cool. Especially if you're doing interviews or if your video is going to be a little bit different, you just come in. If you know Photoshop, it gives you the aspect ratio and resolution of how you need to set up your imaging, a lot of transparency and putting in your titles and so forth. Something like, let's just say something like Live with Weiss. If I put it up there, notice how Live with Weiss comes up, right? So it's there, but I don't really need it anymore. It's just there, and I'm going to probably do some new stuff with OBS as I go through. Important thing. So always create overlays, especially if you're doing interviews. You can fill up that negative space that's going to be in the page itself. But whenever you see these intros, whenever you see exits of any strategy whatsoever when it comes to streaming, everyone plays videos beforehand. Here's the funny thing about videos. You have to create them yourself. They do give you Streamyard gives you one sampling of the countdown here, which I'm going to play it real fast, and we're going to turn it off. We've seen it before. That's great. It's kind of boring. I wish, just like for overlays and for logos and for video clips, there was just more custom functionality. StreamYard's putting it in your court to create all this stuff where StreamYard could really step up and build new functionality within their platform that allows the users to be unique. There's no sense of uniqueness here. Either you know how to do it or you don't, and you got to teach yourself. I wish there were tools for every single aspect on this page. Video clips. I want to be able to load my own video clips, and I know how to do that, and I'm fortunate to do that. But I want to also be able to just go in and, let's just say, choose from several different templates of clips, or even go even further with some sort of internal video software. It's like, here's your countdown, add your image, and this is going to be your clip, or music, or anything of that nature. There's no customization. From an overlay perspective, there's nothing there. You've got to create it yourself. And that's not easy, especially if you don't know how to do it yourself. Then you got to go to Fiverr or find a friend that knows how to build this stuff. So I wish, and this is what really the big downfall is for me with StreamYard, is the customization of this is not really there. You have to make yourself unique from an external perspective and bring it in. Whereas if you're a beginner streamer and you want to be unique, you just have what StreamYard gives you, and that's it. That's why you see a lot of live streams on LinkedIn, especially, that look pretty much the same, because that functionality is not there. There's no way to do transitions. Adding music, right? I want to be able to add music that's not going to get slapped with the DCMA, right? I want to be able to do these different things, but it's just not there, unless if I take control of it, unless if I integrate OBS like I'm doing right now to make it happen. But going back to it, that's my rant. That's something that really throws me off the edge when it comes to StreamYard, because it's a great platform. It's easy to use. It's just there's no uniqueness. It's a beginner's platform, killer beginner's platform. But when you start to get more advanced and you want to find a unique place, you have to do it yourself. And if you're going to do all that stuff yourself, you're going to end up using another platform that has more functionality. So you can create videos. So I do all my videos through Adobe Flash, or not Adobe Flash. Oh my goodness. Adobe Rush. It's a quick platform, allows me to create transitions and all that. You can use iMovie. There's a lot of free platforms to create your own countdowns. I think countdowns are great. There could be call to actions in them, and also outros. So when I end it, I don't just click end stream. I click on that to create music, to create this flow that allows me to exit in a wonderful manner. StreamYard, if you're watching, please add some sort of customization here for users who don't know how to do any of this. Thank you. Now, the very last thing that we have at the bottom here is your background. So you can add backgrounds. My background is just a black background. I don't make it fancy or anything of that nature. The overlay, there's a difference between overlays and backgrounds. Overlays are kind of over the images. It lasts over you and the image itself, whereas a background is just the background itself. So what I've done is I want to keep it clean. So I created a black background, and then my overlays are all in white. So that it's just crisp and clean. Again, you need to be able to create these though in Photoshop. Like creating a transparent image sounds easy, but it takes some work. And I really wish that StreamYard had the functionality of allowing me to do that, honestly, through their own platform, through some creative tool that their dev team could create. That would be killer. It would raise the review 150%. No doubt. No doubt. Instead, you get leaves. Come on. Leaves. There's not any other backgrounds we can choose from. I mean, there's a million backgrounds you're going to be able to choose from the internet. Like, come on, we can do better than leaves background. And so once everything's ready to go, you start your broadcast at the top, and then you end your broadcast. And that is how StreamYard works. It's a super easy tool to use, right? It is something that, I think the partnership between them and LinkedIn is very strong. There's a lot of things that we could take a look at even further to change. But for me, I think from start to finish, this has been an absolutely phenomenal tool. Now we're going to get back to the picture of me. And let's just go through some of the comments real quick. So Chris has dropped a few comments in here, especially the paid version. Yeah, more customizable features, without a doubt. There is a struggle bus, without a doubt. Nathan dropped in. Restream gives you all kind of backgrounds in the free version. I have yet to use Restream. I honestly just haven't gotten around to it. Once I started streaming, I stuck with Streamyard because for me, it's about creating the content in a particular manner. And I'm curious to see the differences between all these different streaming platforms. So if anyone knows anyone for Restream that wants to come in and talk and do a walkthrough of Restream, I'd love to see it, without a doubt. But thanks, Nathan, for dropping in. I really want to know that. And we're going to check out Restream. So hopefully we can do a review on Restream, but let's get into the review process. So let's recap. Using Streamyard, right? This is what the session's all about. I used it simply because I was a beginner in the streaming platform, especially for LinkedIn. So I needed some way, shape, or form to be able to connect in a certain way, right? I needed to use it for LinkedIn Live, and I needed something easy, cost-effective, and so forth. Was able to drop it, no doubt in my mind. And I was really satisfied with everything that went through. From beginner process and from a walkthrough that we did, you'll notice that the platform is actually really easy to use. There's some things that are missing. So all in all, from a technology standpoint, my rating scale is a 1 through 10 from technology. And we're talking about software, definitely with StreamYard. I actually gave StreamYard, when I went through all the ups and downs, I gave it an 8.1. That is a great review for software. The reason why I gave it an 8.1, some of the good things that came out of it, StreamYard was absolutely easy to use from start to finish. Kicking off, like if you don't know what you're doing, this system is killer for it. You can set up all of your links. You can set up the reminders, which I thought was a great functionality, being able to click on people's names when the comments come up. And I thought what was really great was also the ability for guests and being able to bring them in very easily. That was really fantastic about the program. But an 8.1 is not a great software. It's a good software. And the reason why it's not great is as you start to use this type of software, especially StreamYard, you're starting to notice the limitations that are there. First of all, you'll notice that their UI, although simple, might be a little too simple. There's not a whole lot there, and it might be good for some people, but for some other people, that there's things that are missing. I feel like there's no analytics that I can pull from it. I've never gotten any analytics. When you go into settings, it just gives you your billing information. When you go live, when you create broadcasts, I think integrating hashtags from LinkedIn and all that, and the people from LinkedIn is extraordinarily important. You're missing out on an opportunity creating more steps for the user. And then overall customization is at a bare minimum. I mean, you can create as what they give you, but from the walkthrough and what you saw, it's on you as a user to create all this. And what ends up happening, especially for someone like me, as I'm learning Photoshop, as I'm learning more about Final Cut Pro, and I'm learning more about Adobe Rush and creating these things, I'm like, oh man, I'm doing all this stuff. I'm diving into OBS right now, and OBS is going to allow me to stream directly to LinkedIn, right? So what happens there? And without and OBS is where that customization happens. It's where it allows me to do transitions. It allows me to be more flexible with the way in which I broadcast. So for StreamYard, I think it's a concern for me because you're going to create short-term customers in the end, right? Because once they want to create better content and stronger content, they start to realize the limitations that are there. And maybe I'm missing something. Maybe I am, and I haven't seen it, but I've been digging in and exploring. And right now, I'm using OBS as an integration to the platform right now, which is pretty wild. I'm integrating OBS into StreamYard. What StreamYard can do to really change the game is do an overlay of OBS. I've seen it before where companies have come in like Streamlabs and they take the complications of OBS and just blanket something over to make it easy for users to use. You could do the same thing with StreamYard. You could take the functionalities of all these different products that are out there and apply to your platform. But in all, StreamYard is great. I mean, 8.1 is a strong score. I've never had any problems with StreamYard. I've never had any streaming issues whatsoever. It's been consistent. Downloads have never been a problem whatsoever. So for me, from a platform and from a beginner standpoint, security, very good. From an advanced standpoint, it's missing some things on the mark, which puts it in the 8.1 range. Now, I really want to know, do you guys agree with me? Do you agree that StreamYard is an 8.1? Do you think it should be higher? Do you think it should be lower? I battled with myself of where that process should be. I want you to let me know. Let me know in the comments. Let me know what your thoughts are around StreamYard. I'd love to hear more what you guys are saying. And I really want to thank everybody in here for jumping in, joining the conversation about StreamYard. And, you know, no matter what, you're streaming, you're getting yourself out there. That is the most important thing. Figuring out that journey and hopefully understanding the technology like we did today can help you take a few steps forward as well. Thank you everyone for tuning in. This is Weiss saying thank you very much, and you have yourselves a lovely week.
You want to fight?